Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becda's Big Night In number 26. Thanks so much for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us send you something really special at home. We've got a terrific menu for you. It's also very easy. You don't even need to throw the oven on tonight. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So I've got a cast iron pan here. We're going to put it on to high heat, and we're going to throw a hood fan on. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of neutral oil, in my case, grapeseed oil, but you can also use canola oil. Grapeseed oil has been hard to find lately. And you're also going to do the same thing in a non-stick pan. And there we go. Coming out a little slower, but I can get this. You can get this at Farm Boy, and it's very nice stuff. I've also got my sauce diable for the main course, and it's on low and just bubbling away there. And same thing with your blue cheese cream corn. That is going to be amazing. I might just turn that up a little bit to medium high heat. And the steak comes out of the sous vide bag, pat it off with a paper towel, and then you're going to hit it with some salt and pepper. And when you put it in the pan, you can season the other side. That way you don't have to turn it over and lose some of it. So while the pan is heating up, we can have a little taste of our beautiful appetizer rosé optional wine pairing. This is a Leading Post rosé from Niagara, and I love it. And it's just going to be great with the local Matane shrimp from Quebec, done in some lettuce wraps. Rosé to me just tastes of summer. And so now that we're in the heat of summer, it's just great. By the way, happy Father's Day. We're recording this just before Father's Day to all of the dads out there. I hope if you're getting one of these that your kids are making it and that you're just going to love the meal. Okay, pan is starting to smoke, so I think we're ready to go on the steak. That is the thing that's going to take the longest because we want the steak to rest at least 5 minutes. One thing to note, we have already cooked the steak to rare sous vide so that it's super tender. This is a process where you cook it in a bag, in water, warm water, and it just tenderizes it and it makes it amazing. So it's shrunk already. So if you haven't read the instructions, just know that it is smaller than you would find a normal strip loin at the grocery store that's rare or that's raw because it shrinks about 25% during the cooking process to get it to rare. So we've got the nice searing going on there, and now I can season the other side with salt and pepper. You want to get some unsalted butter nearby because you're going to need, for 2 people, you're going to need 5 tablespoons. One in the one for the sauce, and then a couple for the steaks, and a couple for the veg. Now, how long is it going to take to cook the veg? So 6 minutes, and then 2 minutes. So 8 minutes in total. So I don't need to start it right away because the steak is actually going to take the longest to finish. So get some tongs. You want a nice crust on the outside. So about 2 minutes per side. And as soon as you got the nice crust, which I have right there, then we can turn it over. Cast iron pans or heavy bottom pans are great because they really hold the heat. And then you can, sear it up. We're going to butter bathe it after we've done 2 more minutes. So you need a big spoon for that. And if you're using a cast iron pan like I am, you want to get a towel ready to be able to hold the cast iron pan. So I'll get that ready to go. Our cream corn, we can stir that around. Appetizer super easy tonight, by the way. Turn that around with the hot spot there. The sauce diable, you want to give it a little stir as well. Okay, for the appetizer, we've got this lovely local Matane shrimp for the lettuce wraps. Once I do the division, I'm going to tell you how many shrimp roughly per lettuce wrap. You want to divide it out so it's roughly even for the 6 lettuce leaves, assuming you're doing a dinner for 2. Okay, my spidey sensors are saying the steak is ready, so we're going to turn this down to low heat now. We're going to take 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter per portion. Move it around the pan so that it melts quickly and dissipates the heat. So it's not just on one side. And as soon as it's melted, you caramelize the butter, and that's when you butter baste the steaks. I'm going to do about 45 seconds on each side. So I'm just going to chat with you guys a little bit while we're doing that. I'll tell you about the red wine tonight, the red wine optional pairing, and that is our Introvert Cabernet Sauvignon from California. And we've served this one in the past, and I just love it. First of all, a good steak needs a nice Cabernet, and this is from the guy who did Somm, which is a famous movie that was on Netflix, and this is his wine that he makes. And he's a negociant. He knows a lot of the wineries in California, and he buys up grapes from them, and he makes this wine. And it is always juicy and delicious, exactly what you want. Okay, I probably went a little long on one side for the butter basting, so I might go a little short on this side. And now that we're done searing, we can actually turn off the hood fan, not the light. I kind of need that. So if you want your steak done more than medium rare, that's when you're going to turn on the oven to 450 degrees, and you're going to stick it in there for about 2 to 3 minutes per extra degree of doneness that you want. So if you want a medium versus medium rare, that's when you're going to stick it in the oven. But my family likes ours medium rare, so we're going to put that down there. Turn off the burner, and I might come back to that. In a little bit. The butter just to warm it up and give it a little nice finishing. For the sauce diable, we've got some unsalted butter, and we're going to melt it into the sauce diable to emulsify it and make it a little richer. Okay, feeling good. Now it's time to throw the sweet potatoes in here. Now they were mostly cooked, so we're just going to finish them off, caramelize them. Six minutes or so, and then we're going to throw the snap peas in also to finish. Okay, now let's get back to the shrimp. See how many we've got per. It's looking like about 10 of the mini shrimp per lettuce wrap. So it's nice and generous. You're not going to not taste the shrimp for sure on this guy. And we always love to use local when we can. Our cat, by the way, was really sick the last little bit, and she wasn't eating for 5 days, and she lost most of her weight and wasn't drinking. It was really scary, but we got her back through some antibiotics and some time at the vet and all this stuff. But so we've been trying to fatten her up again, and so shrimp is the thing she loves the most. So we've been getting these nice Nordic shrimp and feeding it to her, and she just goes bananas. So there you go. Cheers to you and to my cat. Okay, lettuce wrap is set. By the way, I'm going to pull the dessert out now. We'll take care of that in a second. Well, yeah, make sure we give our stuff a stir. That's maybe a little high, so we can bubbling away a little too much. You want the cream corn to be a nice creamy consistency, but you don't want it too dry. So I want to make sure that some of the liquid is in there. Okay, the sweet potatoes are looking good. Sauce diable emulsified. Put it down to the lowest setting now. We just want to keep it warm. So yeah, let's finish the lettuce wraps. So we've got this fresh mint. If you want, you can just leave it whole. If you want, you can cut it up. I'm going to rip mine because I don't want to have a big mouthful of mint. I want to have little mouthfuls of mint. I'm going to do a little ripping there. By the way, on the steak, for the resting part, I love using a cookie sheet with a baking tray. It really works well so that the air can get underneath it. And the whole point of resting a steak, and this is great when you're doing a curated steak or any steak really, is that the juices go back into the center of the steak, and then it keeps it very tender and moist. So no matter what steak you have, or really any meat that you sear like this versus a braise, you'll want to rest it. And the rule of thumb, if you're cooking from raw, is to rest it for half as long as you cook it. So if you're cooking it for 8 minutes, rest it for 4 minutes. But for here, we're going to rest it for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to slice it up. Okay, sweet potatoes are looking good. We're close. So we're going to season with salt and pepper, and we're going to add the butter. This is the unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon per person. And then we can throw our snap peas in there and give it a little stir. Okay, I better get on to finishing these. So the peanuts are next. I should have actually put the mint on afterwards because I want you to see the really bright, vibrant green mint. I like grabbing the peanuts with my hands so that you leave some of the dust behind when we chop up the peanuts. That's a natural byproduct. And then the piece de resistance, the thing that really makes it, is this gochujang. This is a Korean chili paste, and it is unbelievable. It's got a ton of flavor, but it is spicy. So you guys use as much or as little as you want, but it is epic, epic stuff. But it's also a pasty, so it's tough to properly dab on. I thought this would be too much, but actually the 2 ounces is exactly the right amount for this. I need my fingers for this last part. Make sure that I get some on all of the lettuce drops. Okay, and the thing I forgot, a little squeeze of lime for some nice acidity. You've got a 1/4 wedge of lime, spread that out over 3, and you should be all good. That's looking really nice. Give the cream corn a little stir again. All right, so there's our beautiful local shrimp lettuce wraps with the gochujang, the peanuts, the fresh mint, and the lettuce. Oh, and the lime. Okay, we can bring this over now. While the veg is finishing off, I'm going to quickly plate our dessert. So here we have our Black Forest cheesecake. How cool is that? Let me do this so you guys can see it. And then we've got our macerated cherries and our cocoa nibs. Cocoa nibs you can sprinkle all around. Macerated cherries right on top. That's very nice. If I had to do this over, I'd probably put the cocoa nibs after the cherries. But regardless, you see it, it's beautiful. I can't wait to dig into it. Okay, let's get rid of all this stuff, because I need to slice some steak. So the first thing you can do, before you slice, run it back through the warm butter. It's going to give it a great texture. It's going to warm it up a little bit too. So with the steak, you want to slice it against the grain. So try to find the grain, and by slicing it against, that's a gorgeous medium rare. I'm going to slice it in 3. You pull it apart and you see where the grain is. And let us not forget to season it. So we're going to do that in just a second. But first, we are going to plate our blue cheese cream corn. This is a lot. We might cut it back a little bit because this is a lot of blue cheese cream corn. And that's why we do these videos. I'm putting it in a coupe because I knew it would be a little saucy. Let's see what Chef Ridge says on the plating. Followed by the sweet potato snap peas with Let's get a nice non-stick spoon. Try to spread it out evenly. It's a nice amount of veg. It is going to be a lovely meal. I already know which one I'm going to have for Instagram. Make sure the sauce gets a little stir so it doesn't get a crust on top. We can turn that guy off. Now fan out, make sure you can see this, fan out your steak so that when you season it, it gets on all the pieces, not just on the outside. Some pepper. That is looking good. Very nice. I missed a little bit of the steak for the seasoning. Make sure I get the middle part. And then our sauce diab. So you can put it right on top of the steak. I'm going to try one on top of the steak. And then around. It's looking pretty good on the steak, so make sure if you're doing it around that you get some of that lovely sauce with the steak, because that's what makes it really special. And of course, because presentation is so important, we're going to clean up our plates. Not that I'm doing a great job on this. There we are. A lovely sous vide beef strip loin seared with the sweet potatoes, sugar snap peas, and the blue cheese cream corn and the sauce diab. I hope you love your meal. Thanks for ordering this week. Thanks for all the support. And I really hope we get to cook and curate for you again very soon.